What's up, people? I am back for another video. I was gonna review Beetlejuice, but I did see it, but I just don't think it wasn't good enough. It's one of those movies that it didn't make me mad, but it wasn't good either, that I just don't feel like I have a lot to say. So I don't want to just do a whole video. But I do want to talk about it, so I'm going to do a little bit of a review before we get into the actual video, which is going to be a Screenrant Is Gay. The first one in a while I've done, and I found the perfect article tied with the new Crow movie, so why not do that one? So before I go into that, I guess I'll go, I don't know how long, maybe a couple minutes, I don't know. Like mini review. It's basically going to be like a mini review of Beetlejuice 2. Not going to really go into the plot, more just going to, because the plot is all over the place. Fundamentally, there's like the trailers focus on the ex-wife, Dolores, played by Monica Bellucci, who I'll admit looks really good in this movie. Like, there's little positives here and there. Michael Keaton's good, but apparently I think I said, when Talk Nerdy were talking about it, that I said, like, he had, like, 20 minutes of screen time. I was off by 3 minutes. Apparently, it was 17 minutes. And apparently, it was Keaton's idea. It was a bad idea. I'm not saying he needed to be in the whole movie, because he wasn't in the whole movie in the original, but I don't like that the amount less screen time, it really hurt. Because as much as I like Catherine O'Hara, I felt like she was too over the top at times, where it was almost kind of cringe. As much as I love Jenna Ortega, I really believe Tim Burton just told her, just play Wednesday. That's basically what Astrid, I think that's her name, and the daughter's name, or Lydia's daughter. But she clearly was told, just play Wednesday, because that's what she was in this. She was basically Wednesday. It didn't really feel like, you compare her to Wednesday from the show, they're basically the same character, just with a different name. I'll say this, Jenna Ortega was good, because she's Jenna Ortega, but I just feel like I would have rather her just played, Tim Burton tried to just make her a different character. Let her actually showcase her acting. Not saying she doesn't showcase her acting with Wednesday, she does, but let that be in that show. Wednesday's not connected to fucking Beetlejuice, so I guess they're kind of in the same vein, I guess, in the sense of, like, not necessarily Wednesday, but like the Addams Family kind of, right? But I do think they're still different, and I don't really like that you let's just have Jenna Ortega just play Wednesday again, because that's clearly what she was. And then the other problem I had was it was 3 different movies. It was clearly like there was a plot about Beetlejuice's wife, which I'll admit Monica Bellucci looked good, but she's barely in the film. And that was the other problem. With Beetlejuice barely being in the film, this plot line makes no sense, because what's the point when it does feel like it's like several different movies, because when you're focusing on the Deeds family and their stuff, that's a movie. And then when you get to the world where Beetlejuice is, which I actually wish we got to see a lot more of. I was thinking the sequel, you're gonna do that. But no, Beetlejuice barely in the movie, which was just disappointing, because that was the more compelling plot, and that actually should have been the story. You have Danny DeVito makes a cameo, but he gets killed in like 5 minutes, which is why even have him in the film then? There was a story about Lydia being a mess, which was why. I don't know why that was needed. I like Winona Ryder. I guess they felt like, oh, she knows how to showcase being a mess. And even in like Stranger Things, she kind of is a mess a little bit. But I just don't think it needed to be in this movie. This movie should have just been about Beetlejuice's wife. And realistically, what the story should have been, he goes to Lydia for help. He needs Lydia's help because his ex-wife's coming after him. Or they should have gotten married. That was the other thing. I would have, if you wanted to change the ending from the first one, you have them get married this time around. I get why not doing it in the first one, because she was young, but she's older now, so they're both older now, so it's like you could get away with it now. So, and it would work better just instead of what they did. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's just, I don't have any urge to rewatch it. It was very mediocre. Besides some of the music choices, it was all over the place. The plot needed to be much more streamlined. And I hate to say it, maybe the movie should have had Alec Baldwin. And I get the real life stuff, what's going on, fuck him. But maybe if you had him and Gina Davis in the movie, it would have evened it out a little bit. Because I think that did kind of hurt it. Them not being in, or at least I don't remember them really explaining how why they're not there. Like, this movie just flew over my head. When I was watching Talk Nerd, they had a mention to me that one of the family members died from the first one. The dad died from the first one. Lydia's dad. Not Lydia's dad. Astrid's dad. And I'm like, I forgot. The movie, it's one of those movies that it just flies over you. That was part of the reason I didn't want to do a video, because I kind of forgot it. It's kind of sad when it's a movie I just saw today. It's not like I saw it days ago. I saw it today. You know, and I was kind of right putting it off, because I wasn't rushing to watch it when I was hearing a lot of the bad reviews or middling reviews. Like, Michael Keaton was good, and then I'll admit some of the Tim Burton aesthetic looked cool, but it's not really a good movie. And I personally, if you're gonna watch it, wait till streaming. You don't need to go to the theater for this film. It's not. There's nothing in it I think that's worth seeing in the theater. You could easily wait for streaming for this one. So I gave it like a 5.5. I think I'm just gonna give it a 5 straight up. It's not the worst movie in the world. It didn't necessarily piss me off like the movie we're gonna talk about did, but it still just was, to me, it didn't really need to be made. I think Beetlejuice could be fine as just one film. So, in my mind, there's only one Beetlejuice film. So, it is what it is. But anyway. So now on to the point of the actual video. I hadn't done a Screenrant Is Gay in a while. I looked up articles. I looked up one talking about the Crow. And the title here is, The Crow 2024 does one thing better than the original 94 movie. And they try to say I'll just spoil it. It's basically saying that, Eric and Shelley's romance got more background, which is bullshit. It was background one that's unnecessary. You don't need to know how they met. The one thing I love about the original, they don't go into that. You know they've been a couple for a little bit. You can tell because they're getting engaged. That's usually a sign that they've been dating for a while. But the whole point is they kept it like you don't need to know how they got together. The whole point is what the incident that caused him to become... Okay, that's the other problem. The reason I also did the article, because they try to say it does it better than the original because it explores it. But then in the same article... Hold on, gotta let this stupid shit load for a second. Because in the same article, I'll try to find it. Fucking screen rate, you fucking slow fuck. But then, also in the same article, The Crow 2024 still struggles to get Eric and Shelley's relate. What? What the fuck? How is it both better than the original, but then also it falls short? What the fuck? That is so inconsistent. But anyway, we're gonna get into this. Tomorrow I'll be reviewing a movie my friend Steve recommended me again. I love when he recommends me movies. I hadn't done it in a while. Or no, he has. Some of them I just haven't reviewed yet. But one of them I'm gonna review. We're gonna review this movie called Wraith. It's an 80s movie. I've never seen it. I don't think I've ever heard of this movie. So I'll be reviewing that tomorrow. Tuesday, I can't wait for Tuesday because we do Batman Returns. Don't know what I'm doing Wednesday yet. Thursday, we're going to be doing, honestly, I think I'll do Superbad. Since I did Tropic Thunder, why not do Superbad? Do, like, another kind of fun, actually, no, that's what we'll do. Because I still have to review Tropic Thunder. I've watched it, I just hadn't reviewed it yet, because I was planning on reviewing it, but I had to push first doing Beetlejuice, but then obviously I just didn't think it was worth reviewing. So what I might do is either tomorrow or like Tuesday, I don't know a day yet, but if I'm off, like maybe sometime early tomorrow or early Tuesday, I'll review Tropic Thunder, and then I'm thinking Thursday we're gonna do Super Bad. I think that's like a perfect kind of another early early to mid 2000s comedy. Kind of came out a year before Tropic Thunder did, but around the same time. So I figured why not do that one. And then Friday, it's gonna be Friday the 13th. I'm thinking about maybe trying to do a Jason related video because I don't plan on, aside from that Killer's Game movie, but I don't think I'm gonna see that in theaters. So, and I'm not necessarily, I don't know if I'm even gonna review it. That might just be one I watch. So I don't know yet. So Friday, I'll try to come up with some like Friday the 13th related, maybe favorite, rank the Jason actors or something. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something like that. So that's what I'm thinking. If we do the video Friday, I'm thinking of doing something like that where I rank the Jason actors. So, anyways, let's get into this stupid bullshit. So, according to Screenrant, it better explores the new movie better explores Eric and Shelley's relationship and romance than in 1994, when fundamentally I think their argument fundamentally is, because in the original it just opens with the grisly murder. It's like it works better. Versus this meandering mess. We don't need to know how Eric and Shelley fell in love. We don't need to. So what we get, even if they didn't make them fucking druggies, take that out of it. We didn't need the whole start of the film just being them falling in love was stupid. It fucked up the entire pacing. The thing I love about The Crow, the original, is how breakneck speed it is. Like, it gets going quick. Like, it shows you the murder, then it jumps pretty much to a year later within, like, the first 10 minutes. And then, throughout the film, once Eric, wakes up, goes to the house, or the apartment, and he starts having the memories with Shelley, and then there's the scene where he finds the ring. So you get little flashbacks that work so much better. Instead of spending like 30 minutes on their love, which really isn't love, because it was just a 2-week crack binge, man. It's really what it was, a 2-week crack binge. That was fucking shitty. You make them drunk. I'm not going to scream because it's late, but how fucking stupid that is. You fundamentally... So the fact that Screenrant is really trying to argue that this is better than the original, when in the original, she was almost an angel. That is the whole point. She was like this angelic figure in his life that got taken violently. And then in this one, you just make them druggies. Shelley has no character in this new one. So that's the funny part. They're trying to say it's done better because you get this backstory of how they fell in love. But she has no character. She arguably has much more character just for the little bits we see her. But then even just with the description that Eric gives, there's a scene where he talks about just how she likes little things. When he's talking with I'm just gonna say Winston, but yeah, the actor who plays him, Ernie Hudson. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name for a second, but yeah, Ernie Hudson. When he was talking with him, he mentions like the little things. He mentions that like Shelley likes the little things in life. I know much more about her just from that little line than the whole basically 40 minutes ish that Shelley was alive in this new one. That's all I know of her in the new one. She's a druggie that killed somebody because she was hypnotized. There's nothing interesting about her in this new film. And then in the same fucking article, You jump, and then you try to... Hold on. Fucking A, this fucking shit fucked up on me. But, I mean, I'll just spoil it. Go ahead. Like, they basically just then jump and say they don't have any chemistry, which, this is the part. I'll actually agree with fucking Screenrant here. They have no chemistry. So that's what I don't get why you made this article. It's redundant. You destroyed your own point. You try to say you did something better than the original, but then in the same breath that they had no chemistry. Versus in the original, the little bit you see of Eric and Shelley, they have chemistry. Even in that last scene. Granted, you know, she's taking them basically to the afterlife, essentially. But that little scene there, they had much more chemistry. There was no dialogue. So, I don't even understand, Screenrant, why you made this article. You made a redundant article. I'll say this isn't one of their dumbest ones, especially considering the title. It's still dumb in the sense that you really try to argue it's better than the original. The original, they weren't druggies. They weren't pieces of shit. They were actually sympathetic. Taking Shelley's... Oh, that was the other thing. The other part of her character. She raised this little girl, Sarah, basically as her own daughter. She was her surrogate mother because her actual mother, Darla, was a druggie dating fun boy who cared more about that at the time. Cared more about getting high. That's Shelley's character. That's much more character than the new one who has, or I guess you want to say more screen time, but actually has less impact. More, sometimes less is more. Especially film. Yeah, you don't get a lot of Shelley from the original film, but she has much more. The impact she had on that little girl, Sarah. You know, because her actual mom was a piece of shit. So making Sarah, like fundamentally making fucking Shelley a druggie, this is the problem. This is why it's bad, because of what they did. Because she, like, taking that part of it and then just making her druggie defeats the whole fucking point. Defeats the whole purpose. There's no love in this movie. The fact that Screenrant's even trying to, like, y'all even admitted they had no fucking chemistry. And you said the relationship isn't given much of depth, but you said they had much more connection than the 94 film. What are you talking about? My God. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is pretty dumb. This is pretty fucking dumb. Because they just destroyed their own fucking point. Like, this film destroys what the original Eric and Shelley, probably even in the comics, in the comic graphic novel. I just don't understand how they can even say this movie did anything better than the original. Eric and Shelley had much more depth in the original than this piece of shit, and they had much less screen time together. We didn't need to spend 40 minutes. There's a reason why the original did not do that. Probably even the graphic novel didn't even do that. You don't need to know how they met. They're already in love. Why do you need to see how they met? This is this weird thing that, I don't know what it is with people. I don't know if they just think you need to see every single fucking detail and everything. But it's like, I didn't need to know how Shelley and Eric met. Not really. They're together. And then the night they get murdered. There's a reason it opens with that. Because it's paced better. Because the movie goes at breakneck speed, man. There's really no quiet point. This movie drags. And part of the reason is because they try to force you to sit through like 30 minutes of the quote-unquote relationship. But really, it's just them lusting at each other and being on a 2-week crack or a week, however long. It was like a week or two at most, 2 weeks. Crack binge. They were on a drug binge for like a week or two. That is insane. That's what you did with those characters. And the fact that Screenwriter, you wanted to argue and try to argue that this is somehow better than the original, but then you destroy your own point when you mention that Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs, that's a fucking name, by the way, FKA Twigs. Okay. I know I mentioned this in the video, the review I did, but my God, the fuck is an FKA Twigs, bro? Anyway, they mentioned that they don't have any chemistry, but then you just said, and then they even said that they have no depth, but then you just said it's better than the original. Jesus I get y'all need to get clicks, but fucking A, man. Like, this movie, there's nothing better about in this movie than the original at all. There's nothing better. It's not a good movie. I've talked about it. I'm not going to go into it again, but it's just obviously the fundamental, what they did to Eric and Shelley. And then you take away Sarah, one of the things that made Shelley a great character, you take that element out of it, you just get this druggy chick. That's all she is. I don't care how you spin it, that's all Shelley is in this original film, in this new one. Besides in the original, she's an actual character. Even though you don't get a lot of her, but you don't need to get a lot of her. It's a less is more situation, man. You know? Like, less is more. Like, you didn't need to get a lot of Shelley. You didn't need like a 40-minute thing where you see them fall in love. No. The opening hits so much better. And you could just feel, even just the little flashbacks when you do see them together, it feels much more natural. And you can tell, even like, and I mentioned this earlier, but the scene where she basically is taking him to the afterlife in the end after he completed his mission, basically. That scene, and there's no dialogue. She just grabs him and they kiss each other and then basically disappear. You just see the gravestone. Like, that's all you got. You need dialogue. And they felt much more in love than what we got in this piece of shit, where they're on a week crack binge. I'm gonna keep calling it that because it was a drug binge for a fucking week. Went going to raves, probably doing all like fucking. I can't think of the name right now. Fucking high right now. Ecstasy. That's what I was thinking of. Probably doing ecstasy, all kinds of shit. The fucking scene where they're in the bath together. He's just straight up smoking a joint. The movie was well written, and she wasn't a flat out druggie. If they were just smoking a joint together, I probably wouldn't really have a problem. I still wouldn't love it. And I'm a stoner, but the whole point of, I like that Shelley wasn't a druggie. That was the point of the character. And even in the sense, in that way, Eric was kind of her surrogate dad, maybe brother, more brother, but still. Maybe dad in the sense because she's with Shelley and he saw her as a surrogate mother, so bad sense. But because he took care of her too. I've always felt like he probably helped taking care of her too, not just Shelley. Completely removing that element just destroys the film, and all you get is these two druggies. And that's what we got. And the fact that Screenrant just can allude to anything from this piece of shit new film is better than the original is just fuck them for that. So I'm going to try to make this a consistent series again. Part of the reason, I'm just going to keep it real, Screenrant hadn't really been saying dumb shit. They've been, or they were, it just wasn't anything worth covering. So I'm going to try to be on top of it more often. I was able to find something, so see if maybe I can find some next week. So maybe Thursday I don't do a review, I'll do that. Well, not Thursday, maybe Wednesday I meant to say. Wednesday, if I can't think of a review, I'll maybe do that. So anyways, guys, tomorrow I'll be reviewing a movie, Wraith, and in the evening. And I'll try to, in the morning, review Tropic Thunder. If not, I'll do that Tuesday morning. But anyways, guys, I'll talk to y'all later. Next Saturday, Pin Down Podcast, as usual. Link in the description. Screenrant Is Gay. Talk to y'all later. Peace.